Welcome to Beginner's Guide. In today's tutorial, we are going to learn how to create this login form together with sign up form. So if you can notice one thing, in the login form, there are two fields where you need to enter the email address and the password. It will allow you to log in. In case if you don't have an account, you need to go to the sign up form. When you click on this sign up tab, you find that even the heading has been changed. So here where you can create the email address, password, and you can confirm that password that you have created here. So this is simply the form that can help you to create both a login form and the sign up form. Again, there is another option here. Down there is a sign up now button. In case if you don't have an email address and a password, instead of clicking on this sign up button, you can still click in this link where it can take us to the sign up form. So this is what I'm going to teach in this tutorial. In case if you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe the channel, and if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and share this video with your friends. Without further ado, let's get started. So now in my desktop, I have a folder here. I have one background image together with the HTML file, JavaScript file, and the style.css. Let me open this one with my text editor. Here we go. So this is the background image that I have. Then there is an index.html. Actually, this is a simple basic boilerplate. All I have done is I have linked my style.css and then I have linked my JavaScript file into my HTML document. So here is the style.css. This is some basic thing. I have removed the initial margin, padding, and the box spacing. I have set them to the border box, and then font family I have set them to a certain font family. So main.js, there is nothing inside. Now let's get started to create that login form and sign up form. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a div with a class name called container. So within this class container, what I'm going to do, if you can look at this actual design, there is a heading. So this is like a title, right? So when I click login, there is a title name called login form. So this is what we are going to be designing at the first. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create another div with a class name called heading. So here I'm going to say login form. So I want to give a class name here. Let me say class equals, this is heading login. So what I'm going to do, same I'm going to do for the sign up form. So let me copy and paste. So this one I can call as sign up. So instead of login form, this one I would say sign up form. So let me save and open with my browser. As you can see them here, now I have created the two titles, login form and sign up form. So what is next? I need to create another these two titles, right? If you can notice one thing, it's like I can able to flip between these two headings, right? So in order to flip like that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create some radio buttons. So here, after this div section, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create another div with a class name called slide container. So let me call this one as a slide container. So this slide container is going to help me to create these two tabs, like these flipping tabs. So inside this slide container, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create two radio buttons for me to do the flipping. So input type is going to be a radio button. So name, I can call the name as maybe slider as a name. Then let me give an ID. Let me call this one as a login ID. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do another one because I need to flip between two. So I need two radio buttons. So this one I can call sign up. So initially I want to set the first radio button as a checked one. Let me save and show you how it would look like. You see there is a two radio buttons. The first one is already checked because I want to flip between two tags. So let me do this so that it is easy for us to follow. Now we have created two buttons. Now we need to have the label because you can see them here. There is a label login and sign up. So let me create those two labels. For that, what I'm going to do, after the radio button, I'm just going to create a label. First one is a login, another one is a sign up. So let me create the label. So this label, I'm going to call this one as a login, as a name. So here, this is login. Let me just copy and paste. So this one is going to be sign up. So what we have done so far, we have created two titles, login and sign up. Again, we have created this flipping tab with two titles name called login and sign up. So here let me just create a class name for us to style them nicely. So I can say this one as a slider login as a class name just to style them. Here I'm going to say just like slider. You can call this one as a sign up. Alright, I hope as for now everything is clear. Now let us go to our style.css to style a bit. So let me go and refresh so that you will see what we have done so far. Simple. We have created 2 headings, 2 radio buttons. One is already checked. Then 2 titles name called login and sign up. So I'm going to my body. Let me apply some basic styles. So here in the body section, I want to apply a background image. So we have a background image name called 1.jpg. Just I want to include those things. So the name is 1.jpg. Then I want to background size is going to be background position is going to be center. Then background size is going to be cover. Let me save and refresh. You see there is a background image which has been nicely set up. So next what I'm going to do, I'm just going to target my container. So for this container, what I'm going to do, maybe I'm going to set the position to relative. From the top is going to be 50%. What I'm trying to do, I want to bring this details towards the center of this page. Left 50%, transform, I want to translate from the x-axis minus 50%, y-axis minus 50%. Now I just want to apply some width, 390 pixel. Then I just want to set the overflow to hidden. I want to apply the background color. I'm going to use the RGB. Then I want to apply some padding. I want to set the color to white initially, and then I want to apply the border radius, let's say 10 pixel. Let me save and refresh. Here we go. Now it is in the center. There is a background color with the details. So next I am going to target this class name called heading. So for that heading, what I'm going to say, I want to display them as flux, and then I want to set the width to 200%. So this heading actually is for this heading sign up form and the login form and this top. So I want to set the width to 200% so that 100% will goes to the login form, another 100% would go to the sign up form. Then the next thing, I want to target this class head there. So for that head, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to set some width. Width is going to be 50%. Then let me set some font size. I would say 40 pixel. Font weight, I want them to be bolder. Then I want the text to be aligned in the center. Let me save and refresh so that you would see how it looks like. That is a login. Only login form is being shown up because we have set the width to 50% because the other sign up would go to the other side. So what I'm going to do now, next I'm going to target this slide container. For this slide container, I'm just going to set the width to 100%. And then let me apply the overflow to hidden, so that it will hide the overflow. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a div here with a class name called slider control. So I want to put all these radio buttons and the label inside so that we can apply some styles there. So let me just copy this portion up to the label, and then I want to put them inside this class. So here now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to target this class name called slider control. In this slider control, let me set the position to relative. I want them to be displayed in a flux. I want to set some margin. I can say 25 pixel from the top, but right side is 0. Maybe from the bottom, let's say 10 pixel. Left side I can say 0 pixel. Then let me set some border radius. Let me say 1 pixel solid. Let me apply some RGB color. So here I can say 248, 246, 246. Then let me apply some border radius. Let me set this one to 5 pixel. Let me save and refresh so that you would see what will happen. So this slider control is going to take the control on this sliding tab. We have managed to create this one. So all I need to do is I have to create this other class here. I'm going to target this class name called slider. So here I'm just going to say this slider is common for both login and sign up. If you have noticed here, this slider is a common class for the login and sign up. So I just want to target this slider so that this style will be applied to both login and sign up, especially when we do the flipping, right? So let me set the height to 100%, width 100%, and then I want to set the font size. Let me say this one is a 20 pixel. And then I want to set the color to white, font weight. Let me save and refresh. Let's see how does this one looks like. Okay, now I want to apply some line height. Let me say this is 48 pixel. Let me save and refresh. Okay, now it looks better. Then what else I can apply? So I just want to align the text to the center. And then I want to apply the Z index to 1. Then I just want to set the cursor to the pointer. I think that's all. Let me save and refresh. Let's see how does this one looks like. Okay, this looks better. Now if you can notice one thing, these radio buttons are visible. I don't want them to see them. I just want to flip, but I don't want to see these radio buttons. For that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say input. Inside I'm going to say type equals radio. So inside I don't want to see anything, right? So I just want to say display none. Let me save and refresh. so that these two radio box would disappear exactly like that. So what is next? So I just want to work on the slide tab because I have created the border. There is two things inside, but I want to create the slide tab. So for that, what I'm going to do, let me create a class here with a div to the label. We can create another div just to make the slide tab. So I can call that one as a slide tab, right? So this div is specifically to create the slide between those two tabs. So let me copy and paste them here. So here what I can say, I can set the position to absolute. From the left is going to be 0. Z index is also going to be 0. Let me set some height. It's going to be 100 pixel. And then I want to set the width. Width is going to be 50% because the slide is going to be shared between the login and the sign up. The whole width is 100%. I have to set 50% so that it creates the demarcation between the login and the sign up. So what else? Maybe we can set the background color, right? Background, let me set them to yellow because that yellow background. Then border radius, let me set them to 5 pixel. That's all. Let me save and refresh. Let's see how does this one look like. Okay, but this one looks bigger than the actual one, right? So what we can do them here, so instead of 100 pixel, let me say this one as 100%. Let me save and refresh. Okay, now this one looks perfect, right? I hope things are clear. So what I'm going to do now we have managed to create the titles, then two sliding tabs. So the next one, what we can do, I'm just going to target this ID name called sign up. So I'm going to use the checked property when the slide tab is left side. I want them to be 50%. Then the next one is, let me just copy and paste again. I hope you understand. Left side is going to be 50%, right side is going to be 50%. Now what I want to do them here is, instead of slide tab, I'm just going to target this label with the sign up. So here I'm just going to say label, the class is sign up there. So for that, what I want to say, initially I want to set the color to black. When I check that one is going to be black. I hope you have understood what I mean. I want to do the same for the login as well. So here is going to be login. Let me save. I think we are just good. So let me go there, refresh, and I slide. And there is no smooth transition. So what I can do, let me go up there and apply some transition here. So I'm going to apply the transition. Let me say all 0.4 second is. Let me save and refresh. There is a smooth transition. So when you say, let me say 8 maybe. So there is a smooth transition. As you can see them here. Let me just set them to 5 maybe. It would be better. Even in the slider up there, let me apply the same transition. Let me save and refresh. So you will see this nice transition between these two tabs. Now we have managed to create these things. Now all we need to create is the this fields for the form. So for that, I'm going to my HTML document. So here after this div, let us create the form elements. So I'm going to call the div name with form data, where we are going to create the fields for the form. Then here we are going to have the form tag. So within this form tag, I'm not going to take anywhere, so it's just going to be remain there. Let me give the class name for this. Let me call this one as a login, because I'm going to create the fields for this login, like email address and the password. So inside I need to create these two fields, isn't it so? So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create the div with the class name called fields. So within these fields, I'm going to create the input field. The first one is email, right? So the name, we don't need any name on the ID. So here what I can do, I can just use the placeholder. So let's remove this one. The placeholder is going to email address. So now the next field is a password. So what I'm going to do, let me just copy and paste. So this one is password, and then this one is also your password, right? So what I'm going to use, I'm going to use the default HTML property as a required, so that if the user leave the field blank, it will give us that error message saying fill out this field, right? So we have created these two fields. Now what we are remaining with is this forgot password field and the button and these two, right? Let me create those as well. So here I'm going to create this forgot password field. So let me create a class name as forgot. So inside this one, I'm going to create the anchor tag. So this anchor tag is going nowhere, just the label as forgot password. After that, we need to create this button. For that button, I'm going to create a div. For this div, let me give a class. I can give the class name as, let me say, fields, and then I can call this one as a btn. So within this class, I'm going to create a button. So the button that I'm going to create is a submit button. So input is going to be a submit button, and then value, the value is login, right? So let me pass this one as a login. Then we have created this one. So what we are remaining with these two fields. For that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create another div down there. Let me call this one as sign up link. So within the sign up link class, I'm just going to create not a member, and then followed by, I need to have the anchor tag saying sign up now. Right now we have managed to create the form tag for this login form. Now we need to go to the sign up. Then we have to create this field for the sign up form. So for that, I'm going to create another form with a class name called sign up. In short, I'm going to create all these fields just like the way that I have done. Now I have managed to create the fields for this sign up button. So let me go and refresh my browser. So this is a fields for my login. This is a fields for my sign up form. All we are remaining with is a styling part. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to my style.css. So let me go and target this container for the form. So I just want to style this form data container for the entire form. I want to display them as flex, and then width I want them to be 200%. Then from there, I'm just going to target the form itself. I just want to set the width to 50%. Then from there, I want to target this class name called fields. So this fields is for all the input together with a button. So I want to style this input fields together with the buttons. So I'm targeting the fields class. I want to set the height to 50 pixel, then width, let's say 100%. Then I want to set the margin from top. I want them to be 20 pixel, right side 0 pixel, bottom 10 pixel, 0 pixel left. Let me save and refresh so that you will see how does this one look like. Okay, it's not bad. So now I need to target these input fields now. So for that, I'm going there to target the input fields. Let me set the height to 100%, width also 100%. Let me save and refresh. Okay, now it looks better. Then, but it's still, we need to apply something. Let me just apply some padding. From padding left, I want them to be 20 pixel. Border radius, I want them to be 5 pixel. I want to remove the outline. Let me save and refresh. It looks better. Let me just set the border 1 pixel solid. Let me use the RGB font size. Maybe I want the font to be bolder. Finally, let me save and refresh. Let's see. Okay, it looks better, right? So just let me apply some transition. 0.5. So let me say, okay, it looks better. Now, when I focus on this input, maybe let's say I want to have some borders on this input field. So for that, all you need to do is you're going to the form. In that form, you're going to the fields. Then you're going to the input. When you do the focus, maybe let's say I want to have the border in a different color. So for that, I can say border color, any color that you want. Let me say I just want to the gray. So let me save and refresh so that when you focus, there is a border there in a gray color. I'm sure that you can notice. So next one is I just want to change the color of these things inside. So for that, what we can do, the input field, I'm going to use the placeholder. So I just want to set the color to the gray so that it would look nice. So here maybe for the focus, we can give the different color so that you would see. Let me just give the color to the green so that actually you will see the difference. So refresh. So when you focus, you see there is a green color border coming out, right? So I think we are good as for now. So all we need to do is we need to style this part, forget password and the sign up button. For that, what we can do, we need to go to the class name for the forget password. What is a class name? This is a class name called forget. So all you need to do is let's set some margin top. From the margin top, because I want these things to be bit down, let's say 8 pixel so that it would come bit down. Now I just want to remove this underline. So for that, I have to target the anchor tag. So here in the anchor tag, I want to change the color first. Let's say I want to change the color of the text to the yellow. Then I want to change the font weight to bolder. I want to remove the text decoration. I don't want to see the underline. So let me go and save. You see the underline has bold and the yellow thing. But when I hover on this one, maybe let's say I want to see the underline. For that, all you need to do is use the property as hover. So inside, just say text decoration underline. So when you hover, it's going to give you the underline, as you can see them here. Now we are done. So all we are remaining with is the button and these two things down there. So let us go to the sign up so that we style this sign up now button a bit. Then we will see that one. For that, the class name is sign up link. So for that sign up link, I want the text align to be in the center because I want these things to be in the center. Margin top, let me say 30 pixel, and the font weight to be bold. Then I want to target the anchor tag now. So the color is going to be yellow. Let me save and refresh. Okay. Now it looks better, right? So all we need to do is now we need to target on this button so that we can style them a bit, just like the way that you can see them here. So for that, I need to go and identify the class for the button. And the class name for the button is btn. So let me go there. So for this btn, I want to set the position to relative. I want to hide the overflow because there is two buttons here. Remember, there is a sign up button and the login button. So I want to hide the overflow. Let me set the height to 50 pixel, width to 100%. Then let me apply some border radius. Let me say 5 pixel. Let me save and refresh. As for now, there has nothing happened. So what we can do, now the text is in the center, but nothing has been applied like a background color and all those things. What I can do, let me create a div for this button so that we can style a bit. So I'm going to my index.html. Here, I'm just going to create a div. Maybe let's say the class name is a button style. So after this, let me say this is just purely because of styling the button, this div. So let me copy and paste them here. Okay, before that, what we can do, we just set this submit button. So what I can do, btn the input. Here we can say type, the code is a submit button, right? So this submit button, I want the position to be a relative. Let me apply a color. So I want to apply the color to a, let's say black. And then the background, I want them to be yellow color. So let me apply some border radius. Then let me increase the font size to 22 pixel. And then font weight, I want them to be bolder. And then cursor, I want them to be a pointer. I think I don't want any border. So let me save and refresh. We will see how does that one look like. Okay, now it looks better, right? There is a login, the background color is backend color, everything has been applied. So now what I'm going to do, that div that I have created there, it's a button style. So here I'm going to say position is going to be absolute because there is a two buttons here, right? So when I go to the sign up, it should bring me a sign up, yet it's not coming. So for that, so I'm just going to set the position to absolute. Then the left, I want them to be 100% so that that sign up button would come. And I want to set the height to 100%. Width, I want them to be 200%. I think border radius 5 pixel. Let's say I want to have some smooth transition between these two. So for that, let me apply some transition or 0.5 second is right. So I have this button dot style is only applied for the login button. I don't think so that I applied this class. This is for the login, right? So what I can do, let me just copy this same style to this other button for the sign up form. Where is this other button? It's here. Let me put them here, save, go there, refresh, sign up. It won't change for now, so sign up, all those things. Okay, so we have managed to do our tiling and the basic design. Now all we need to do is, when I click on this login, it should show me this page. When I go to this sign up, it should change the title here to the sign up, as well as the actual input field also should change together with this button. Again, when I click on this link, it should give me the sign up form, isn't it? So this is what we need to do. That one we can do with the help of the JavaScript. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a variable. Let me say let. The first thing that you should know is everything is going to focus on clicking on this login button, clicking on this sign up form, and then clicking on this link. What we want to see them is, so when I click on this one, it's going to be a login and it's going to show us the actual one. When I click on the sign up, it should change the title as sign up form. It should bring the fields for the sign up, and then this button should change them to sign up. So this is what we are going to be doing. So here I'm going to create variables. So let me say the first one, I want to change the heading, so let me say the variable name as a heading. So I'm going to use document.querySelector method. So what I want to target is initially, so the one that is there is I want to change the title, right? So where is the title comes from? So the title is coming from this heading and then this login, right? So I'm going to say dot heading from that class, and then I have a class name called login. So this is a title, right? So then the next thing is I'm going to create another variable for the form data, because I want to change the form data, isn't it? So when I flip to the sign up form, the form field has to be changed. So I'm going to create another variable name called form data. So document.querySelector method. So what I want to target them here is the form. From the form, I'm going to target the login class. I'm going to create another variable let, then initially there is a button, right? Let me call that an initial button. That initial button is a login button, right? So that initial button, where am I going to identify from? Document.querySelector. When I say initial button, initially when the form is loaded, this button is initial button. It has to show us the login button, right? So where am I going to get that button from? From the label class dot login. Then when I flip to the sign up, this button has to change to the sign up, right? So for that, I'm going to create another variable. Let me call that one as a next button. So that next button is a sign up button, because when I go to the sign up, the next button would show us a sign up button. If you can see them here, when I go to sign up, there is a next button name called sign up. So this button, where am I going to get them from? So document, so querySelector method. So this one I'm going to get them from the sign up. So this is going to be a label dot, there is a class name called sign up. Let me call this one as a sign up. Now what is the use of this variable? So when I click on this sign up now, it should take me to this form. So that is the reason why I'm creating this variable name called sign up. So when I click on that particular link, it should take me to the sign up form. So for that, I'm going to use the document.querySelector. So where am I going to find that link from? This link is here, right? Actually, we have created a link down there, if you remember. This link here, together with the anchor tag, right? So here I'm going to say it's there in the form, and then the class name is sign up link, and then I'm going to the anchor tag. Now we have managed to create all the variables that we need in order to flip between two forms. So all we need to do is we need to apply some events in order to move between two forms. So what I'm going to do initially, I'm just going to say, maybe let's say next button initially dot on click as a method. When I click on this button, let me use the arrow function here. So this arrow function, what is it going to do? What is this next button? Next button means when I click on this this is the next button, right? So when I click on this next button, is going to bring us this form together with this button. For that, what I'm going to do initially, I have to say this form data has to change from this actual form data to this actual form data. So where is this actual form data? It is there in this form data. So here I'm going to say form data dot style dot margin left. I'm going to set them to let's say -50%, so that when it flips, that data for the sign up form would come. So this is going to be -50%. After the form data, what else should change? It should change the title and the button, right? So how can you change the title and the button? Initially, when you change the form, even this title has to be changed. Where is the title? The title is there in the heading, right? So here we are going to say heading dot, this one is not the get element by class name, it's just going to be a style. So even this one is going to be style dot margin left. We're just going to set them to -50%, right? So that it can change the forms as well as the title. Now the next thing is we have to change the buttons. So for that, I'm going to target the initial button variable. This initial button variable, when I click on that one, it has to come back to the login, right? So in order to come back to the login, all you need to do is we're just going to bring them back, these data, to the actual positions. So what is the actual position? 0, right? So just bring them back to the actual position. So when it comes to the -50, it will take us to the next form. So if you want to come back, the position has to be a 0. That's it. Then all we need to do is we have to just change the buttons, right? So in order to do that, so here when you click this button sign up now, again it should take you to that form, right? So for that, just put sign up now dot on click as an event. So it's going to take a function. So this function, we are going to say next button dot click. What does that mean? When you click on this button, it's going to take to the next button. That's the reason why we are trying to call the next button. So it's going to call this next dot button click event, so that it will bring us these font details. And then otherwise it's going to return false, right? So now let us go and refresh. When there is a login, the title is a login, you are going to enter the details, enter something, and then enter the password here. Click login, the details are there, so there is no problem, right? In case if you leave this page blank and you try to hit login, it's just going to say please fill out this field. For example, if you want to go to the sign up, go to the sign up. It's going to bring up the sign up form with a button and the title, or you can use sign up now button so that it can still take you to the sign up form. Now I hope you have understood how to create this login form together with the sign up form. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you have not subscribed the channel yet, please do subscribe. Thank you. See you in the next tutorial.